Hi, this is Andy of Andy's Personal Development, and we are currently live in the Breakout Room. So, welcome and welcome, and we love being here for you with quality and value to inspire and to transform. Remember, we are on Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and iTunes. Today, as usual, we have a special guest to share with you for your development and growth and to live your better informed life. So, grab a cup, pull up a seat, and stay tuned for the introduction right here, now, live in the Breakout Room. Hey guys, this is Andy of Andy's Personal Development. Our next guest, Jenny Mannion. She's an author, energy reawakener, and self-love activator. This is our next guest coming up in our live episode in the Breakout Room. She's an author and facilitator. A short path to change, 30 ways to transform your life by Jenny Mannion. And she also facilitates live sessions where people can receive information on how they can live their better life with healing and good vibes. She's surrounded by loved ones, family, and friends. So, my friends, welcome and welcome and welcome. This is Andy of Andy's Personal Development, and we are live and alive in the Breakout Room with our friend and our special honored guest, Jenny Mannion. Jenny, how are you?
I'm doing so well, Andy. It's so nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome, and thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show. It's an honor for us to have you here. How's the weather up there in where you are in New York State?
It's a little chilly and snowy, a little dark today, but
But you got to stay warm inside, right?
yeah, I got my cozy sweater on. I'm doing
Right.
okay.
Always a good side. Always a good side. It's so good to hear. So, Jenny, you are an author, an energy reawakener, and a self love activator. The author part, that's easy. But when you hear the term energy reawakener, it brings a sort of new dimension to things. How would you describe that particular thing that you do that describes you as an energy reawakener?
Well, when I was sick, I was in a very negative mindset, and it was in changing my mindset and changing my energy that I was able to heal myself of 7 years of chronic disease in 3 weeks. So it's been 15-year journey of me gathering tools and really recognizing how hard people are on themselves. And when we're born in this world, we have ultimate imagination. The world is open to us, but we face traumas, we face limits that are put on us, we face limiting thoughts. So really, I work with people to reawaken that energy of knowing that they're unlimited, that they can create the life of their dreams, that they're worthy of creating the life of their dreams.
All right, sounds good. I'm looking at your information and I hear you just mention again that you had 7 years of struggling with illnesses, and that must have been quite depressing for you. But what was Jenny's life before that, before the struggle, before the diseases? What was your life like?
I grew up in New York City,
Hmm.
and when I got married, we moved to New Jersey. We moved like half an hour out of New York City, and the town was definitely in transition when we moved there. When we moved there, we thought it was a quaint town, but they just put the train line in, so it got very little bit upper class, and
Uh-huh.
the moms wearing the heels to the playground like didn't
Right.
really resonate so much. And I had always been kind of striving to
Hmm.
be everything for everyone. I wanted to be
Okay.
the best friend possible, the best daughter possible. So definitely, I still call myself a recovering perfectionist, and I know that that tendency really contributed to to me getting sick. It contributed. When you try to control everything, life is
Yeah.
not not able to control everything in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
can seem really challenging. And I was my harshest critic.
Okay. Okay. So, what was it like during that period of time, that 7 years? How were your emotions and your mental state affected by all these illnesses?
It's pretty grim there, Andy, for a while.
Wow.
I mean, I was never like a totally angry,
Hmm.
that person all the time. I did have moments of joy. I did have people I loved very much in my life. I was very aware of that. My mom was like my closest supporter. I was married at the time. I had my kids. So there were always things to be positive about. But when you're in
Hmm.
chronic pain, it is
Yeah.
attention getting.
Uh-huh.
And the frustration of going to doctors and getting more diagnoses, of arguing with my doctors because I didn't want to go on certain medications, it wears on you. Going for more and more tests, being in doctors' offices, frustrated. I guess a lot of the time, very frustrated, and feeling like the more I researched it, the more I didn't get any answers really for healing. And I never really got that. No one said to me, no one asked me about my mental wellness, how I was
Hmm.
doing with everything. No one
Yeah.
asked what I was doing to take care of myself during that time. It's
Hmm.
really just kind of prescribing drugs for pain, or, really those limited ideas. So I had kind of adopted them. I had joined support groups and done what you're supposed to do, quote
Right.
unquote, when you get
Right.
ill, and
Right.
read books. But even that wasn't very inspiring. A lot of the support groups were people kind of one upping each other on how bad their life was. I did have just not a lot of inspiration through the books I
Hmm.
was reading. A lot of the books on chronic illness are like, oh, have a funeral for your old self. You're never going to be that person again. So it wasn't
Right.
very inspirational.
Uh-huh.
But I did certainly have things that I loved. I loved reading. I loved certain things. In the beginning of my illness, I was able to still dance, do yoga dance. That helped me a lot. I did look to things to help me through that time.
Okay. Okay. So tell me something. I'm listening to what you're saying, and what is reaching out to me is that you didn't have the support mentally and so on that you thought what was necessary at that point in time in your life, and you had to go searching. Is it possible that during that period of time you found what you now call self-love, as you are considered as a self-love activator?
Oh yeah, my self-love was non-existent at the time, really. It's interesting that when we get sick, we beat ourselves up even more. We're not
Okay.
supportive and loving. We're repeating our limits to ourselves. And I definitely was. I was judging myself. I'm not a good enough wife. I'm not a good enough daughter. I'm not a good enough mom. All of those things aren't very healing messages to be sending to your body.
Right, right, right. Okay, great. So what advice, Jenny, would you give to people who are in a similar position to where you were? What would you say to them now, and they're looking for answers and they are trying to figure out, where do I get support? How do I get someone to understand what I'm going through and finally find a way to break free from this shackle of illnesses? What would you say to them as a form of advice?
There are a few things I've learned along the
Start
way.
with one.
Just one? Well, gratitude is definitely the most important. If I had to say like one
Yeah.
tool that helped
Yeah.
me shift my consciousness the most, it was gratitude, because we get in this negative mindset of repeating these words to ourselves. But when I started shifting to, I am grateful I have a comfy bed to lay in. I am grateful I can read to my kids, even if I can't run after them the way I
Mm-hmm.
want to,
Okay.
and really focusing on the gratitude, that is the number one thing. Also, the love for your body is really important. We tend to
Right.
send negative energy to the parts that are hurt. I know when my legs were the worst pain, where I had the most pain, and I was always kind of bad mouthing my legs and sending negative
Wow.
energy there. What's the
Okay.
matter with you? Why aren't you working? I'm so
Hmm.
disappointed. So sending love and gratitude to those parts of the body that are ill is really important too. And it's amazing, Andy, because our body runs countless systems during the day,
Right.
and we really rarely ever give gratitude. We rarely pay attention to our body unless it hurts.
I
So
hear you.
switching to that love every morning, giving thanks to your body in the shower, giving thanks to that cleansing and that fresh energy coming in, really switching our consciousness to that attitude of gratitude for what is good in our life and our body as it is.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Now, Jenny, you said that 7 years you would have struggled. And of course, during that period of time, you were looking for answers, you were looking for solutions. Could you define for us, and probably you remember it better than anyone else, could you define for us that specific pivoting moment when things change for you and you realize, I found a way out? What was that like for you?
I think there was a moment that led up to that, and then there was a moment that it hit. The moment that
Oh,
led up to that, I met a girlfriend and we started going for walks together. I had refused pain pills for a long time. I didn't want to be addicted to pain pills in my mid
right.
30s. But for her, I would be like, okay, I'll take like a quarter of the dose and go for a walk. And it was really important for me to start remembering who I was because I was sick, Jenny, and I was not a good enough mom. And I was all these roles that I was telling myself I wasn't good enough, but I wasn't remembering who I was. And a lot of times as we get married and have kids and get jobs, we do become those roles rather than
Yep.
remembering who we are.
Hmm.
So that was the first thing. And then I saw the movie The Secret and things in there resonated. I was a psychology major and I was like, wow, I haven't been working with my mind that much. I've really been working on the physical body. What if I stopped going to doctors for a little while? I didn't have anything, it was more tests and more, it wasn't anything critical that I had to go to. What if I stopped going for a while and really focused all my attention on reading Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer and focusing on my how I'm talking to myself and fill myself with gratitude. It's one
Right.
thing I haven't tried. May as well try it. Can't make things worse. So maybe it'll help me a little bit. I didn't know I could heal myself. That is out of the realm of possibility because doctors said it was out of the realm of possibility.
Hmm.
But I knew that I was starting to feel better. And in 3 weeks, I was off of pain pills and feeling better than I had in years.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing. Sounds so good. The book, A Short Path to Change. What inspired that, and how did you feel about sharing the information that was enclosed in that publication?
Definitely working with clients inspired it, as well as my own journey, really recognizing that most people, usually unless they're a narcissist, struggle with some kind of self-love or self-worth.
Wow, wow, wow.
So really helping people to my book is broken into 4 parts. The first part is removing all the old things, removing the
Hmm.
clutter from your life, removing the way you talk to yourself, really shifting your attention. Second part's about the chakras. I love the energy body, and I think that there's real intelligence
Hmm.
in understanding how the body communicates to us. You know, if
Okay.
we get a sore throat, what does that mean? Instead of just popping a pill to make the pain go away, where did that sore throat come from? You know, maybe
Right.
there is an emotional thing contributing. Maybe I'm afraid to speak my truth to that person. You know,
Okay.
so really diving into the chakras. And the third part was the present moment, which is the most important thing because if we're mindful, we can change our reality starting this moment. We can change the way we speak to ourselves. We can change the way we react to others. And the last was just kind of tools along the way that I had learned. Self-sabotage. We're all going to do it. You know, how to love ourselves through it, how to set intentions mindfully and keep supporting ourselves, how to educate ourselves on things that we love because that excites us. It makes us want to get up every day.
Wow, sounds good. Sounds exciting. I'm looking at your publications and I'm looking at Healing and Illumination Poems for Discovering Balance. Where did that all came from, and how is it that you have found the opportunity to be so detailed about stuff that people need to know, especially those that are struggling with a similar conditions that you would have experienced in the past? Where was
Yeah,
the inspiration?
that one was a big one, Andy. So I don't think anyone's ever asked me about that.
Okay.
So I've always written poetry as long as I
Hmm.
remember. I think in second grade I had a poem read on the air. Just always loved expressing myself through poems because my mom did as well.
Right.
So it was something I
Right.
learned from an early age. When I read Caroline Mace's book, Anatomy of the Spirit, which
Mm-hmm.
takes us through the chakras, I had one of those moments where I was just like crying, like, but joyfully crying, like knowing like I got to do this. Like, I got to write a poem about each chakra. I got to dive
Right.
deep and express it this way in a way that's easy because people sometimes even hear the word chakra and the wall goes down.
Mm,
Oh, that's
yeah. Yeah.
complicated.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really wanted to make it very easy. And I will tell you that writing each of those poems was my own healing journey again. We
Okay.
all go through those layers, editing the poems, another healing journey, really, and just to be open to that too. I know that it can be scary when we bring up past trauma, past limiting. I mean, we got these behaviors and habits from a place. They
Okay.
were soothing us. They were,
Mm,
making us comfortable. So really being loving to ourselves when this stuff comes up. And I love the chakras because it teaches you how to tune into your body, how to be aware maybe before a serious illness arises that your body is becoming a little out of balance. My body gave me lots of signs. I didn't listen. I was too busy doing, and
right. Right.
cleaning the house and being a mom and doing all the things instead of really tuning in and listening to when my body was like, you know what, enough. You can rest now.
Okay. Wonderful. You are a contributing author to Huffington Post and the Elephant Journal. What is that experience like for you, and what would you say would be a most proud contributing aspect as far as an author is concerned?
I'm still writing for the Elephant Journal,
Uh
and
huh.
I did enjoy writing for Huffington Post. I love that I can share like little tidbits there, that I've learned. I think that sharing about my grief from when my mom
Mm-hmm.
passed really helped me too to write. As I said, writing poetry, writing in general, I love.
Right.
So
Right.
it is a way of healing for me. And I know that when people reach out to me, it's more interactive. People reach out to me on Elephant Journal or through comments and say that my reading definitely resonated with them. And it's
Okay.
just a way to continually express myself and also touch on a bunch of different topics.
All right. Sounds good. Tell me something. Now that we are on that trend, we're dealing with love and self healing and so on. What are some of your favorite tools that you would suggest for increasing self love? I mean, in general, for anybody.
Gratitude for self's important. We beat ourselves up about every single thing, but we won't give ourselves credit. Or even if we do something, we'll give ourselves, oh, yeah, that was good. But we don't give ourselves real credit. Like we sink into, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, I wonder what they thought. We let
Mm,
the mind go crazy
yeah,
with that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
we don't allow ourselves to sink into, you know what? I made a great dinner for my family tonight. You know what? I took that yoga class that I had wanted to take. You know what? I took a long shower and allowed myself to relax. I'm really grateful I did that for myself. So sinking
Okay.
into gratitude for yourself is really important. I do love the prayer Ho'oponopono, the healing prayer Ho'oponopono. Really simple 4 sentences, and it's really about connecting to your soul. So it's I love you, I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And it's really powerful for transmuting that energy because we're used to beating ourselves up, not used to saying I love you. And we do love ourselves. Otherwise, we would
Right, right.
be constantly working on ourselves and want to wake up every day. So
Yeah,
at some
yeah.
level, we love ourselves. So really tapping into that. I love you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm beating you up all day. Please forgive me. Thank you. I think that's a major one. Also, joy is really important, Andy. Like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't give ourselves permission to experience joy. The first thing I have my clients do is write a list of 10 things that bring them joy. Can be making a cup of tea, can be reading something, it can be dancing around the living room or kitchen, these
Hmm.
little things that we can do that invite joy in, and each day picking one. It doesn't have to be something that lasts a long time, but you are affirming to yourself, you know what, life is okay here. It
Yeah,
is
yeah,
pleasant. I do want
yeah.
to stay here. There are good things in the world, and we really need to give ourselves permission to experience joy every day.
Great. Thanks for sharing. I get from what you're saying that it really matters your sense of perception in terms of how you see things, the angle at which you project, the way you assess things, and looking more at a positive and endearing and embracing and loving side rather than all the other stuff. Taking that into consideration, what would you say is your most satisfying moment in terms of dealing with people, whether it was a group or an individual, but you know for sure that after the session was over, you made such an impact on that person's life. You saw it in their eyes, their face, the body language, the way they spoke. You know, there was a sense of lightness and freedom, and then they were committed to moving to the next level. Can you remember any moments like that for you with your clients or any group that you have done counseling for in the past?
I am so grateful to say I have a lot of those moments.
Wow.
That fills my heart that I can, when you were saying that, I was like, I can't name one moment. Like there's a lot of them. But I know that like in a group recently, a few months
Hmm.
back, a friend and I, she's a hypnotherapist, and
Okay.
we ran a free retreat for teachers to really support them because they went through a lot during the last couple of years, and to
Hmm.
really inspire them. This was during the summer, to go back in the fall fresh, with energy, with good energy. And it was really just so inspiring to hear all of the feedback after, that they all did feel inspired for the new school year, that they were able to process some of the trauma that they had experienced and really move past that to a positive mindset and view of the future. And yeah, that was heartwarming. Our teachers are so important, and to be able to give back in that way really, really felt great. And clients, I feel that a lot with them, just that is my goal, to have them. I mean, I don't like the word healer because I'm not healing anybody. Like
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
really about that person healing themselves. But I have a lot of
Okay.
cool tools, to offer. And
Okay. Okay.
I love when I hear those aha moments. I love
Right.
when I see that shift. I love working with clients for a couple of months because I can sometimes see their whole life transform, and there is
Hmm.
nothing more rewarding for me than to give it back to them, and be like, you did this.
Right. Right.
You're the
Right.
one that did this, and it didn't take that long,
Hmm.
but really to just acknowledge the work that they've done.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Reawaken You. You have membership available for that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's actually a free membership to be
hmm.
a member of my community. And once a month, I do a free energy healing
Hmm.
around the theme. Next Tuesdays will be around the holidays, getting through the holidays. And we set intentions, and I run energy around that. Also offer support every Tuesday and Friday for free, to check in. And really, it's just about building that community. I haven't had every experience, so my goal is
Okay.
to get people in there communicating with each other and helping each other. That is what it's about. I love when I teach, I love teaching in a circle, because it's not about me, it's about that group consciousness and everyone being there and holding that sacred space for each other. And the similarities, being like, oh, I felt like that too, I'm not alone. I love that. I love teaching in a group because that inspires that. And Reawaken You is really about that, really about building that community so that people can help each other.
Sounds good. Hi, Jenny. Tell me something. The Love 365 program, what is that all about, and how effective has it been in your work and your commitment to adding value to people's lives?
Well, I needed affirmations every day. So it was kind of born from that. And also, it was born actually from losing my mom, because my mom was my
Oh,
biggest cheerleader. So I was like, hey, I'm going to need to fill that role now. And really embracing that self love and taking it deeper. What does that look
okay.
like? So every day, if you're a member of Love 365, you get a little short blurb on self love related to a topic, and exercise, as well as an affirmation. So you could take the day, sometimes you could take a couple days to do that one, but it really is about every day tuning in, being like, yeah, I'm worthy. Yeah, I'm going to take this 10 minutes for myself and affirm my worth and affirm that I love myself, because it doesn't take hours and hours of meditation to start seeing changes in our lives, but it is about, as you brought up before, that mindfulness is key. That is like
Yeah,
bringing
yeah.
ourselves to the present moment and not being just on automatic pilot, doing the same things, saying the same things, falling into the same behaviors and habits. We can free ourselves. We
Okay,
can reinvent our lives.
great. Jenny, do you work closely with other professionals? Maybe like you mentioned hypnotherapists and also psychologists or psychologists in in a group session where you would combine your services together and help people. Have you experienced much of that? And if so, how effective has it been?
Yeah, I do love doing that. I love being a part of summits where everyone's offering
Right,
something on the
right.
same topic, because you can hear things 20 ways, but it's not till that 20th person says it a certain way that it resonates
Ah,
with you,
right,
that
right.
it lands. So I love that there's so many different healing practitioners and modalities and people doing things. And yeah, I'm always open to opportunities. And I do feel like that workshop we did this summer was effective because it was the two of us. And
Okay.
she was doing the hypnotherapy and taking people into self-hypnosis too, teaching them self-hypnosis tricks,
Hmm.
very important for teachers, to calm
Yeah.
themselves during the day if something
Okay.
happens. And yeah, always open for opportunities to work with others. And I think the more tools people have, the better.
Great. I have spoken to folks on things like hypnotherapy and so on, and they get, that barrier comes down, and people
Yeah.
get scared and they want to back away. But can you enlighten us a little bit about that particular field and how effective it can be in helping people recover information that is important today and so on?
Yeah. Well, we're always in a state of hypnosis. We're always repeating messages to ourselves. So
Okay.
we start thinking of it that way. It's really
Hmm.
replacing those thoughts with more positive thinking, with
Okay.
more healing thoughts. And
Okay.
a hypnotherapist is not the stage hypnotist that makes you cluck like a chicken, that gets a bad rap. That is not what they do. They don't program you to do something you don't want to do. You can't do something you don't want to do. It really is about giving you tools so you can tap into hearing yourself and
Hmm.
reprogramming those messages to have a more positive result. That's why hypnotherapists are very helpful in losing weight, quitting smoking cigarettes, some of those habits that they're just our go-to. It's a
Okay.
it's a self-sabotaging thing, but hypnotherapists can really help you develop the mindset you need to overcome those things.
Okay, great. I get the feeling that there needs to be more information out there about the good stuff
Yes.
because, as I said before, people get all locked up and let's not. That's taboo, let's not talk about that. But the more information that is put out there is the more people can become educated. Is there another series of books or writings or publications that you're working on that we can look forward to in the future?
I'm always working on things. I'm always working on things. I mean, right now I'm still writing for Love 365. That will be a
Okay.
separate course that will be available. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'm always diving deep. I just completed 14 months of training of shamanic training.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very passionate about that too. Read the Akashic records. I love energy. Basically, anything that helps you switch your energy, I'm in, and I'm always open for what's next.
Okay.
Just kind of rebranded to my website. So still working on Love 365, taking a breath, doing some interviews, but very excited for what's next. I feel like something's coming. I'm ready.
Wonderful. 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 Sounds good. Sounds exciting. Something to look forward to. What has it been like for you? And if any, well, all of us have had to make adjustments during this pandemic time. But what was it like for you? I mean, with your career and your family, making the adjustments and so on. How challenging was it for you?
There were challenges and there were blessings. My mom actually got ill right before COVID.
Uh huh.
So during COVID, my boyfriend was out of work, so he was able to be home so I could move in with my mom for a little while. My kids were
Okay.
able to come home from college so they could say goodbye to my mom. So it actually did help in some ways. I did give up my local office because paying rent for someplace you can't be didn't make any sense. So I
Yeah,
went
yeah.
totally working remotely. I'm lucky enough to have an office in my home. So wasn't that much of an adjustment, honestly, with working with people because about 80% of my clients were online anyway. Uh, so that was okay. But yeah, I mean, there were blessings and there were definitely some things that were difficult to get used to. I used to like to go out dancing once in a while, hearing live music. That's
Ah.
dancing is another love of mine. So that was a little hard to be without.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
there were a lot of blessings too. I love the extra time with my family. And, my kids are at that age, 22 and 18, where they're not going to be around much longer. They're already around shorter periods of time. So really did enjoy that time with them.
Okay, good. Um, I get the impression that your mom, and she's passed on now, played a really important role in your life. Would you describe her as the one person that you could have looked up to as your mentor, or is there another person that can make these kind of positive contributions to your life?
Uh, I I don't know if anyone can touch her quite like
Ah,
what
there
she
you
did,
go.
but she was that unconditional love. She was laughter. She was able, even in my worst of moods, to make me laugh and just take things a little easier. I do luckily have wonderful, wonderful friends that inspire me every single day that I know I can reach out to. I have a coach that I absolutely love that represents love. I mean, that's really been the most important thing for me because my mom represented so much love in my life, really aligning myself only with people that exude that. That
Yes.
exude that integrity, because my mom was always in integrity and love. Those are kind of the two, and humor. Humor is a good one
Ah,
too.
okay, good, good, good. Tell me something. What is your favorite TV show on a lighter note?
Well, we really did. My boyfriend and I got really into watching Ted Lasso the last couple of years because it was so light and good messages and yeah, just so much nicer, than a lot of the darkness that was out there. I love the positive
Ah,
messages he would say. And yeah, I really enjoyed watching that.
wonderful. One more question, Jenny, before we go for a little ad break. If you had the opportunity to change anything in the world today as it is, what would you change?
If I was like, could wave a magic wand and it was all
Ah,
changed,
if
or
it was so easy, eh?
I mean, there's poverty and there's intolerance are the top two, to make sure that everyone has an opportunity and to make sure that everyone's treated fairly. Those are the two most
Hmm.
important things.
Yeah, wonderful. Sounds good. Okay, folks, we are live and alive in the breakout room. This is Andy from Andy's Personal Development, and we have with us Jenny Mannion, our special guest. We'll be taking a short break now, and we will be back with you shortly. Stand by. And we are live back in the breakout room. This is Andy of Andy's Personal Development, and our special guest with us is Jenny Mannion, author, energy reawakener, and self love activator. Nice that you are still with us, Jenny.
I'm grateful to be here.
All right. Your information says everything is possible. I will show your audience how. Is that a landmark trademark for you, or is it something that came out of the fact that you're confident that the stuff that you have, the tools that you have, can definitely work and make a difference in people's lives?
Yeah. I mean, as I said before, I'm grateful there are so many healers and modalities, but if someone resonates with me, there is not a doubt in
Hmm.
my mind that I can help them.
Okay,
Uh,
great.
and they're called to me for a reason. And whether that's through, I do love the mind techniques because I think the mind is underneath it all. I do love my energy woo woo stuff too, but I really do feel like it all comes back to the mind because even if I've seen what people would call miracles, I've seen stage 4 cancer disappear more than once in my career. I've seen things happen that traditional doctors wouldn't be able to explain.
Right.
But if that person hasn't worked with the mind too,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it'll manifest in another way. So it
Okay.
really is important to address the issues of the mind, to start being mindful,
Mm-hmm.
to fall in love with yourself, to know that the best possible scenario is possible. We tend to go to the what if worst case scenario, but having people start thinking of the what if amazing scenarios, something maybe you never thought was possible, and
Right.
embracing that, know you're worthy of it.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. What does the future look like for Jenny Mannion? Are there any tremendous plans to make greater impact on people's life? What are your plans going forward?
I would love to do more workshops.
All right.
And really, I do love that power of the group. So
Mm-hmm.
that is definitely an intention, and how that unfolds, hoping that centers reopen. And I'm actually traveling. I'm near a couple centers to go to
Okay.
and teach, but also teaching online, continue to teach workshops online, continue to do classes. And I do love that one on one work too, working with someone where they can be totally open and honest with me and themselves is beautiful. And that never gets old either. Seeing people transform their lives is priceless. It's rewarding beyond measure.
Wonderful. And what about Jenny? What are Jenny desires for herself for the future? Your personal goals, your personal achievements you want for you, for Jenny, not for anybody else, just for Jenny.
So this is career based or just in my life in general?
You, your
Me,
pats on the
I
back, the
would
things that you do for
love
yourself.
I would love to live somewhere a little warmer with my
Okay.
boyfriend. We're investigating places to go in the next couple of years, maybe. So I'd love to live somewhere warmer, maybe near some water. I do love the ocean. I love
Okay.
lakes. To be able to just have this ability to touch more lives. I mean, that's really
Mhm.
it. That expansion to how can I help more people? How can I be of service at a greater level? How can I
Okay.
reach more people? How can I let them know that they can do anything they want to do and be anything that they want to be? So, really, however that looks, it's been unfolding kind of differently than I ever expected. So, I know better to say it has to be this way, but just to be in a little warmer environment, dancing more because I've definitely slacked on the dancing more, incorporating that more. I do have a daily meditation and daily qigong practice, but the dance is really important. I like to move. So
All right.
dancing every day, living by
Mm-hmm.
some water, that sounds pretty ideal. Still working with
Okay.
clients and workshops. Sounds like my dream life.
Okay. So what are we looking at? Salsa, the cha-cha, or what? Classical dancing, up on the
Well, I
toes,
did
ballet stuff.
I did do modern and jazz for years, and I was in a belly dance troupe for 5 years.
Ooh.
I love to move. I mean, I was a club kid growing up in New York City, so I love to dance. Like I love to move. You got me good music on, I'm moving. I love reggae. I mean, anything you can move to. I am
Ah,
there. Yeah, I'm there.
sounds good. Sounds good. Thanks for sharing. when you look at the world, Jenny, and you look at the contribution that you're making now, do you tell yourself, maybe I can do a little bit more, maybe I can extend myself further, or are you reminded that no, that is not something that you should be doing at this point in time?
Oh, that inner struggle, Andy. The recovering perfectionist versus the me I've turned into in the last year and a half since my mom has passed, with really being more introspective and knowing that self-care is important. So it is
Right.
that balance, yes, I want to affect more people. I want to be out there more, but how do I do it in a way that is sustainable for me?
Uh-huh.
Because I have to be able to show up for my clients 100%. And that involves taking care of me on a very deep level. And so it is that fine line, and it's always like, how can I move forward serving the most people and still maintain my health, my well-being? And I it's really important for me because I got to walk my talk. I'm teaching this
Yes,
stuff. I
that's
have
right.
to be able to feel like I am in integrity and doing the things that I am teaching.
Wonderful. Jenny, you are a special soul. And this time with you has been so wonderful. I'm going to take a short break here, and just to let our listeners know that our next guest will be coming on Saturday, 11th December, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 6 p.m. AST time. And his name is Brian Arnold. He's a former mafia trained card shark who made millions of dollars before the age of 24. But that was back in 1974. Fell into deep depression, did drugs, alcohol, self destruction, and he was also suicidal. But he had a very powerful spiritual experience, and he was instantly delivered from addictions, deep depression, and self destruction of suicide. So he'll be here with us on Saturday, 11 December, 5 p.m. Eastern Time or 6 p.m. AST time, right here in the Breakout Room to tell us about his story. Brian Arnold will be here, so look out for that. But for now, the guest of honor in the spotlight at the moment is Jenny Mannion. Jenny, people want to get in touch with you. They want to hear about your information. They want to invite you to counsel them, to share your time with them, to share your expertise with them, your books, your clubs, and so on. How can they make contact with you? What's the most effective ways to reach out to you?
Most effective way is jennymannion.com. So
Right.
JennyMannion.com. I have my website. On my website, I have a lot of free offerings as well. You can join Reawaken You community, and you can have a 7-day free trial of Love 365, which really takes you through the chakras as well as a meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Love through the chakras. You can email me, jenny@jennymannion.com. But I have all my services and everything on my site.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, feel free to do that. And I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook, all Jenny Mannion or Reawaken You. So I'm on social media. And yeah, and your guest on Saturday sounds fantastic, Andy. I want to tell you that. And thank you for your kind words too. It's
Hey,
really
you
nice to
you
speak with you.
you are very warm and wonderful, my friend, and we love your spirit. We love having you on with us. So there you have it, folks. Jenny Mannion live and alive in the breakout room. And we're gonna ask her now if she has any last words that she would like to say. Not last indeed, but for the show. Just for the show as we're about to wrap up. Uh
Yes,
if she has any
please.
icing to put on the cake.
Be easy on yourself. Love
Mm-hmm.
yourself. We've all
Mm-hmm.
been through so much the last couple of years, grief, transitions, but it's also a time of tremendous inspiration. This
Right.
is like the phoenix, rising. The phoenix is
Out of the
burning.
ashes. Yeah. Yeah.
Really rise from those ashes. You have the
Yes.
tools. If you don't have the tools, look for the tools. There's a lot of tools out there to help you. Just know you're not alone. Reach out if you need help, and just know that there is only one you, and the world needs you.
Wow, wonderful. Thanks for sharing. That's a powerful note. And we are at the end of our show. We are live and alive in the breakout room. And your host with Jenny Mannion, our special guest. And we thank her sincerely from the depths of our hearts for sharing this wonderful time with us and the information that we know would add value and purpose to your lives. So, as we say bye, we will see you on our next program. In the meantime, stay safe, stay in love, stay with peace. Godspeed. Stand by, Jenny. We'll be with you
Thank
shortly.
you.
All right.